Hi, I'm Freddie. I'm a content creator here at Simucube, and this is our first Simucube podcast. We're joined no other than Mr. Hannu Harju, our first guest. Welcome, Hannu.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Absolutely. I guess from our point of view in the marketing side, like this is typically quite a busy time of year for us. We've just launched ActivePedal Pro, and now we have Black Friday coming up. So I think for the whole company, it's quite a busy time of year. Like, how is it now for you as a CEO? What's the day-to-day like?
It's quite busy season for me as well. I mean, we are now thinking about or gathering data for the new strategy things that we are figuring out that kind of the future that what we want to do.
Yeah, and it's like a 5-year plan.
Yeah, and updating those things and the strategy, it takes time, and there's so many options that we could do with the expertise we have. So
it's true. How do you make decisions, like higher level decisions? Do you have any go-to strategies, or what do you base your decisions on, or is it just a gut feeling?
No, I mean, in this company we use teams a lot. I mean, like different teams that we try to figure out things like together instead of one person doing like the major decisions. So we kind of it is hard because when you want to be the kind of the innovator, it means that you cannot do like, let's say, traditional market research or that, because that is for the market-driven products and we don't really do those. So, and there are some like different processes that you can use for that, but it is harder, and there is some kind of like intuition that you just need to use it at some point. But yeah, we kind of tend to lean on, just having some kind of, not really a consensus, but like teamwork to get the big decisions done as well.
Yeah. I mean, from our experience, there isn't this huge hierarchy in Simucube. So a lot of decisions are made like quite broadly.
Yeah.
And I think this comes down to the company culture. So how would you describe the company culture at Simucube?
No.
in a few words.
That is a big question. I mean, yeah. I think we are kind of quite down to earth, and we like to, we love the innovation and doing new things and pushing things forward, and also, doing it in a way that it feels like nice and it feels good to come to work, and you keep the stress levels like in, optimal stress. Taking care of the employees, that is like the thing where Granite Devices or Simucube was founded, so that we really put focus on that.
And the company has been around for how long now?
Well, Granite Devices was originally founded in 2007, and then we really grew for the past 8 years or something like that. So. And
the background is in motor controlled devices.
Industrial servo drives and robotics and stuff like that. So that is where the kind of the core technological competence comes from. The moving all sorts of motors. So.
Yeah. So you were here obviously right at the start, and now we are how many employees? 50 to 60, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I wasn't here to start. I'm just a CEO. I didn't found this company, so I think I was the 7th, and now we have like almost 60. Yeah.
And how have you seen the growth of the company over those years? Like, has there been any like highlights or anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, it has been a ride, and there's a lot of things changes when you go from 5 to 60. There's a lot of things that we kind of change in the way and bring like just the necessary amount of structure and processes and stuff like that, so that they don't get in the way, but we still can work efficiently and yeah, it's not an easy thing to get right, but we try.
Yeah. So that was like looking a little bit back into the past. Where do you see the future of Simucube? What's the long-term vision here? Where do you see us going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I think that we are on the right path. So yeah, keep going. I mean, we push things forward and we innovate new stuff and do the things that other companies don't do, and kind of push things forward.
So I guess innovating is probably one of the ways that we intend to maintain our position as a high-level brand. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, it would be hard for us to do like more mass market products. It's not something that we are good at, and we like to do new things. And it's not just the products; it's also like other things like marketing and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, we often get questions on our social media, for example, are we going to do a 10 or 15 Newton meter bass, or are we going to do a cheaper bass? So what is the answer to that?
Yeah, I mean, we have we had the know-how to do those. We could do a 10 Newton meter bass if we wanted, but our manufacturer is mostly in Estonia, so we like to keep, and it's relatively close to here, so it's kind of easy travel to go there, and we have worked with that company for, I don't know, 10 years or something. So it's quite a long time. So it's that our manufacturing is not really optimized for mass market either. So it basically would mean that we need to move the production to somewhere else than in Europe. So it's not something that we are too keen to doing. So
yeah. Okay, so then going from wheelbases to pedals. So Simucube ActivePedal first came to market just over 2 years ago, and it's been a great success. And we have now just released Simucube ActivePedal Pro. But thinking back to ActivePedal now, ActivePedal Ultimate, what was the biggest challenge with that product, would you say?
Well, I think that the hardest part was to get to make the motor invisible so that you don't feel the motor. So if you didn't know, it would not feel like an active pedal. So that was like the hardest.
Feels like a spring.
Yeah, so it kind of needs to feel like, let's say, Harju pedal or any pedal you are kind of gotten used to before. So yeah, the firmware.
And I think you've been asked this question before, but what was harder to get right? Was it the software or the hardware?
Yeah, it's a tricky question because obviously you need to have both. I mean, if you have crappy hardware, then you cannot make the software work and vice versa. So you need to get both right. But I think that the software is probably easier to get right, especially with the Ultimate when we kind of used the best parts that we could find. So we kind of had the best components in the world to make it happen. So,
and I guess at some point the decision was made to want to develop a more affordable version of the Ultimate. Can you tell us a little bit about what that process was and how we went from releasing the Ultimate to now we have the Pro? What was the process?
Yeah, the idea was just to try to make it a little bit more accessible because Ultimate is an expensive product, and so we just wanted to kind of drop the price as much as we could. So that's where the Pro came in. And we always had the plan that we start with the Ultimate because then we can we don't have to compromise with the hardware and we can use our energy in the software and the firmware and get it right. So that's like, it's kind of the fastest way to do it anyway. And then after that, we kind of started looking into hardware how we could kind of optimize it more.
I must ask then, we have the Ultimate, the Pro, and I think you know where I'm going with this one.
Yeah, I know where you go. Yeah, it's a question that we get quite a lot, especially when we changed the name of the original ActivePedal to ActivePedal Ultimate, then we immediately got the question, when is sport coming? One day. Okay,
maybe. That's a good enough answer. So how does Simucube view the increasing competition in the sim racing market? How do we see that? Do we feel threatened? Do we feel like it's a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's what happens when the market grows. There is more competition, and that's very kind of natural. What happens, and so if there wouldn't be any competition, I would be quite worried that there's not a market. So for us, I mean, it's a good thing, and it kind of keeps us on toes as well, so we don't get too comfortable, and we always kind of remember that we need to push forward, and we cannot just when we make a great active pedal, then yeah, let's go on holiday. No, we just start another project coming right up. So yeah.
Do you see any trends emerging, like even maybe now, but in the future? Obviously, ActivePedal is a bit of a trend. That we see more manufacturers starting to release prototypes and things. Is this a trend you see? And are there any other trends you see that could be coming?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see that where the ActivePedal trend actually goes, because now it has started quite well, and I mean the technology itself is very promising, and there's a lot of benefits when you compare to passive pedals. But yeah, I mean it will probably be the same that we get more competition with the ActivePedal as well, and that's a good thing too. So So yeah, that's definitely a trend that we see that will continue in the years, that there will be, after a certain price point, the pedals will be active, like I would say completely at some point.
Okay, I'm now going to ask you a few questions that we've had from our community. Let's start maybe with the most popular question. This comes from Raphael, and he says, are there any plans for Simucube 3?
Yeah, I would have guessed that. Yeah, it's something that we have gotten like a year after we launched Simucube 2, that when is the 3 coming? And so, yeah, Simucube 2 is still a great product. There's like, when we figure out something, what we can actually improve on that, then maybe at some point, yeah, but yeah.
Okay. Question here from the Sign HD, and he says, what is your I rating? Do you even have an I rating?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm a crappy driver. I don't.
How are you?
I'm an engineer, so I don't. I haven't really.
Do you race at all? Do you get in the sims here in the office?
Well, I do at some Friday nights when everybody has left. Maybe at
so no one sees what's going on.
Yeah, but no, I'm a terrible driver.
Yeah.
I don't know how to drive. It was actually fine when the Red Line guys visited us, like was last year.
Yeah.
They actually tried to teach me how to drive.
Yeah, Olle.
Oh, yeah, Olle. Yeah. It didn't go very well. No.
Are you more of a GT3 driver or a Formula driver or rally? Because we know you're a Finnish man.
Yeah.
Rallies are quite popular here.
I don't know. Maybe I have driven most is the GT, but I don't know. I suck at everything. So.
How many Newton meters do you prefer in your wheelbase?
Well, I can just refer back to
this first question.
Yeah. So I don't.
You don't have one.
I mean, just the pro guys we have, they just adjust everything, and I just sit down and drive. So that's like, I don't know how many Newton meters, but it feels good.
Okay, that's the main thing. Okay, next question is from Matt the Ginge, and he says, with an influx of sim hardware competitors, what is the short or long-term goals to stay at the top?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it feels quite natural that how we invent new things, and then we try and prototype and then we make it into products. So I don't know if we have some kind of like master plan how we do it. That's just how we have always done it. I mean, when all the way from like granite devices, we do new stuff because we are interested and motivated to do that. So for us, it's just like another day in the office when we invent something new. So I don't know.
Absolutely. I often see prototypes around the office, and I'm thinking, what the heck is that? So yeah, I totally can agree with that. Will Simucube make a shifter or handbrake in the future?
Yeah, not on our roadmap right now, but it might be something that like a nice side project that we could do at some point to kind of make the ecosystem more like full, basically. So yeah, maybe.
And then last question here from Lyric Sander. He says, how is it possible to create such incredible products?
Yeah, I don't know. It takes actually a lot of things. Like you need to get a lot of small things you need to get right so that you can build big things. So yeah, we have a great engineering team. We have a lot of knowledge on how to control the motors and what the sim racers need, and we work very closely with the community, which is an amazing thing for us that we can get the immediate feedback from those guys, and when they test out some new things like, well, with wheelbases or ActivePedals, then we get the like pure unfiltered feedback from them. Well, whether we like it or not, but you know, it's very valuable for us, and then that is a great asset I think that we have. So it is something that we want to do. I think that is where we are like really motivated to do.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Hannu, for joining us today on our episode of the Simucube podcast. Thank you to the community for all the questions. See you next time.